about camper. So this video is going to be about my 14 days water fast. Just like I promised, we're going to sit down. I have my notes. We're going to go through why did I do it, how it went down for me, sort of a phase by phase, day by day, how I was fasting, and I'm going to share with you some random thoughts and downloads as I was fasting that I had. It's probably going to be a bit long, as all my videos, you know me, blah 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 blah. But more than anything, I want to share this with, maybe some of you that will ever consider this, but also do it for myself. Last time I was fasting, I didn't do that, and some of the things that happened, it escaped me a little bit. So it's sort of a journal kind of a thing, but if you're interested, I hope I'm going to be able to give you all the information that you need. Just a disclaimer, as always, I'm not a healthcare professional. I am a spiritual teacher, psychic medium, so I will be talking from a perspective of spirituality, what it gives you if you're someone who is spiritual, is on a journey of growth, self-improvement, improvement of, right, raising your spirit to the level of the heart. So that's what we're going to be talking about. All right, so we're going to start from why, not just why did I do it, but I want to cover some things that I feel that this is why it's very beneficial. Water fast, it's very beneficial. Now, I've done 14 days. 14 days, I feel it's a bit extreme, although I know people who do 21 days. I feel like I could do one extra week. We're going to talk about this in a moment. Obviously, there are people who do prolonged fasting. If you do decide to do prolonged fasting, I feel it's something very spiritual. It's something that requires an intention, so you have to be really intentional about why you do it. Obviously, you have to check in with your doctor. I say this all the time. 1 to 3 days, I feel anyone could do it, and I dare to say anyone should. It's something that gives us completely different perspective, and especially if you're not someone who has experience with these kind of extreme journeys, 2-3 days will seem like something extreme to you. So it's something that I would recommend if you are on a spiritual journey, as long as your body is healthy, as long as you checked with your healthcare professional and you are okay to do this. Of course, prolonged is a little bit extreme, so I feel like it's for those of you who maybe are on a very specific journey, twin journey, spiritual teacher, becoming a spiritual teacher, true awakening journey. We talk about this a lot on this channel, the difference, the levels of that awakening, the difference about the spiritual awareness and the actual awakening as a channel. So let's go through this. First thing that I have in the why that I noted down is that sometimes we have to go extreme to reevaluate and cleanse and to balance. And I really, really firmly believe that. And it's not just about specifically fast, but that I often talk to you guys, especially to our masculines on the journey, but also to some feminines, about celibacy and about how, if you really want to do that deep cleanse of your sacral, celibacy is a must. Intentional extreme sometimes is a must to trigger that deep cleanse and transformation within our physical body, within our energy body, right? So what intentional celibacy does, it triggers that deep purge and that deep cleanse in your sacral area. I'm not going to go into this. I talk about this all the time, and I will be launching next month 6-month sacral purge cleanse challenge. So if you are interested, stay tuned for that. But in the same way, this is what fast does to you. If you have any kind of disimbalance or any kind of shadow that links to your physical body, be it nourishing your body, so how you eat, be it loving your body, fully accepting your body for what it is. So if you still someone that, you criticize yourself, you have a lot of points of low self-esteem when it comes to your body. Maybe you have some sort of a body dysmorphia, or you find yourself that you don't eat that well, that you snack a lot, that you eat foods that are not nourishing, that are not healthy. I feel that this sort of a reset really helps a lot. And I can share with you my personal journey, because it's not the first fast that I've done. And every fast releases from me some level of that shadow that maybe still exists on the level of food and on a level of nourishment. And long time ago, I had body dysmorphia, I had eating disorders, I was a binge eater. I struggled always. I hated my body. I couldn't look at my body. I would do, when I was in my early 20s, I would do anything, including stupid, unhealthy things, to change my body. And obviously through journey of healing and through journey of self-improvement, that changes incredibly. That's why I always say that if someone doesn't love their body, no diet, no gym, no anything will truly fix you. It's the healing. It's the healing of the heart. It's the healing of the spirit that will fix that. But I find that fasting creates this really amazing reset when it comes to you and your relationship with food. So if you're someone who's trying to improve that relationship with food, again, I'm not going to be repeating this when I say give it a try. I'm not saying 14 days. I wouldn't recommend 14 days to anyone that I'm not working with and I don't know you. But 2 to 3 days, it's something that, in my opinion, really anyone could do. So again, sometimes when we struggle with something, whether that's substance, eating, shallow connections, whatever that is, to fully reset our body, to fully reset to that. And that's my point number 2, right? We need that extreme change for a period of time. And my point number 2 is that our bodies are machines. They're beautiful, smart, biological machines. They communicate to us. They try to communicate to us all the time. And most people don't really know how to take care of these machines, because most people are in a matrix, right? So most people are disconnected from the fact that your body is a machine, but that machine is a vessel for your beautiful spirit. So as long as you're disconnecting the two, you're never going to properly take care of your body. So you can go to the gym every day, you can eat healthy, you can do Pilates or whatever it is that you're doing. If you don't cultivate the true mind-body connection, and if you don't sort of elevate everything that you do in your life, including exercise, including eating, to that tantric level of the spirit, as an experience of the spirit, you're never truly connected to your body, right? And that fasting, you're never truly caring for your body. And that fasting really helps us to, it really is the system reboot. And I often say this, that it is a system reboot, and most people are truly disconnected from the network. The network is source. The network is the most high, is the universe, is the meaning of life. And most people are disconnected from that, right? So experiences like this really help to sort of reawaken that connection. But again, it's a very important thing. You have to do it intentionally. You have to bring that intention that you really want to connect through this experience to your body, that you really want to cleanse those shadows that link you to have that unhealthy relationship with food and healthy relationship with your body, to be critical towards your body. Obviously, it's a deep body cleanse as well with that reboot. It's not just a spiritual reboot of the system to remove obstacles. So think about it as a supercomputer, right? You're truly rebooting it. You're removing all the viruses. You're removing all the things that are not working properly, and you're connecting in to source, to the network. But you're also cleansing it from a perspective of physical body, right? So it is definitely on a cellular level. It is a deep reset. It is a deep cleanse, right? Next thing that I've written down is, for me personally, I do it because I am an actual channel, right? I work with people. I'm a spiritual teacher. I hold on, sorry, I had to put myself on do not disturb. So I am a spiritual teacher, and I talk about this to you guys all the time. To properly do our work, we are channels. We channel messages from divine. We channel messages from your spirit guides as we are in sessions. We have to make sure, first of all, that we really conquered, healed, and integrated all our shadows. Not to speak to you from a perspective of ego, but also we constantly have to elevate to maintain clear vessel. And part of that clear vessel is also to have that connection with our physical body, to understand how our physical body sometimes also translates those messages from spirit. So to me, practices like that to maintain that clear vessel are really, really really helpful. And the last thing that I noted down is that experiences like this, they do allow you to go deeper, right? It's really, you give your body to the Most High, to Source. Like, I trust you. I'm going to do this. I'm going to trust that I'm going to be okay. I'm going to trust that you're going to give me strength. I'm going to trust that that you protect me, that I am divinely protected. And you truly learn to surrender. So for those who struggle to surrender, it's a beautiful practice as well. And it's a sacrifice as well. And I personally, the previous fast that I did was with a sacrifice for myself, right? I wanted to, I had an intention linking to my own journey, but for this fast, my intention was for others. So I think it's always good, I mentioned this, right? That it has to be intentional. So a deep change within you, or intention that you want to send as a ripple effect towards this world. So through doing that, you really trust that it's going to make a difference. You trust that you're going to be guided, and you trust that it's going to be a beautiful experience that will completely transform you. All right. So I want to talk a little bit about the symptoms, so you know how it looks like. So I sort of, in those 2 weeks, 14 days, I had like 3 phases that I changed how I was moving through this. So the first phase, which was almost the first whole week, it was really weird because I had no physical hunger, right? In my previous fast that I did, I had physical hunger in the beginning that in the second week transformed into mental hunger. But this time I went straight away to mental hunger, which means that I was watching cooking videos all day, watching people eating all day. It's something that if you've never done fast, people seem to be surprised, but people who did fasting, I find that it's a common thing that we really, it's helpful to watch videos. It's helpful to really look at people. For me, especially cooking, right? Watching the cooking videos and the cooking shows. So my hunger was mental. I didn't feel this hunger in my body. I didn't feel this hunger in my belly. I didn't feel like, sometimes you go without eating a few hours, or you wake up in the morning and you feel this physical hunger, like even in your throat or in your tummy, right? I did not feel that, but the mental hunger would not leave me. I was definitely the fatigue, and I spoke about this to you guys in my daily stories, and I was updating you. It was the worst part. It was horrible, and it came in very quickly, and it surprised me as well. When I was speaking to my guides about this, I truly feel, and they confirming, that it was related to the fact that my sacrifice and my intention was really beautiful and really big, and it went to the collective. It didn't go to myself. So it really drained a lot of my energy from day one, and I was meditating on that intention, thinking about it really strongly, praying a lot. So I was exhausted from day one. It was like a struggle for me to move from my bedroom to my bathroom. I really couldn't do much. First week, I was still working. I was still doing collective. I still had sessions. For the second week, I blocked my calendar because I I saw it coming, and it was a good decision because I wasn't even able to like do videos and collectives. was spending most time in bed. I wasn't able to like really doing anything. If I have to go and pick up like water from the store or like send a package, it was really a huge effort for me. So fatigue was really bad, and it started first week. First week I slept okay. I didn't have any issues with sleeping. A lot of people do. I didn't. So again, fatigue was the biggest issue. Extremely dry mouth. That was another thing from day one already, right off the bat, to the point that it's difficult to even speak because your mouth, your lips get so dry. Your mouth is so dry. No matter how much water you drink, you can be sipping on that water like every second, right? And it's just not helping. And another thing I wanted to mention, that I had no headaches. I was really happy about this. I'm someone who I tend to sometimes get heavy migraines, especially around my period. I got my period last days of my fast and I was really stressed out, but I didn't get a single headache. Maybe like first days I had like little pulsation around like the temples for like a couple of minutes, but it would go away. Which again, a lot of people go through that symptom, and I feel like in my last fast I did have some heavy headaches, but not this time. So after those first, I think like was 5-6 days, it changed, and I went into a few days of this complete purge on the level of the body, on the level of the emotion, on the level of the mind. It was just horrible. It was horrible. The fatigue was a lot. It was at its peak. I got rash all over my body. Like I still have some spots after the rash. I can feel it underneath my finger, although it's like almost gone, but my skin tends to like hold these things for a while. But I got like rash throughout my face, my neck, on my legs. I was purging emotionally. I was crying. I was laughing. There was everything. I started having a little bit of that physical hunger here and there. Mental hunger was still there big time. I was really having trouble sleeping. I couldn't sleep. I was having heavy dreams, like dream after dream after dream, till the point that you're waking up and you don't know, did it happen, did it not happen, what's going on. I had few days. It was also astrologically that period of time that the veil got really thin and it was very intense. But I could feel that in my dream, it was like my deepest fears, right, would come through. And this is where I want to mention to you guys that you have to be careful with these practices, because certain spiritual practices, when we talk about prolonged fasting, when we talk about some plant medicine, right, they're very powerful and they can put us in a state of purge and in a state of, right? So when you are already someone who is experienced, who went through the journey of healing, who went through the journey of shadow work. So for example, as it was happening to me, I immediately know, okay, this is my mind trying to purge, showing me my biggest fears, but I know that this is just limiting belief. Those are not things that are actually going to happen. Those are not prophetic dreams. I know what's going on. I'm very self-aware. I'm aware of my shadows because I've integrated them. I'm aware of how, the mind works. I'm aware how these practices work. And if you're not in that place, or if you don't have someone, perhaps like a spiritual teacher that you work with on a daily basis and that can help you go through these experiences, I find that some people, without just thinking, they jump into these practices again, plant medicine, water fasting, and then they start to purge or they start to have visions, or something from deeply suppressed and subconscious mind comes to the surface, and they don't know how to handle it, and they end up being worse than they started. So just be mindful of that those really deep practices that we either need to be held by someone, or we need to be ready for it, or really have a strong connection with our guides. And that self-mindfulness is as well. It's very, 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 very helpful. So those days were really really difficult. Again, I couldn't sleep. I would just like nap every here and there. Yeah, so just bad, just very bad. And then those last days, surprisingly, they were the best days. I don't know whether it's because my mind already subconsciously knew that it's close to break the fast, or I was just done purging. It was another sort of a level. But fatigue was still there. It was still very heavy, dry mouth all the time. Those two symptoms did not, go away. But I stopped purging. I went into more of a contemplation, sort of a mode, so it wasn't difficult emotionally, and I slept better already, a little bit, not great, but better than those purging days. I started having like some tummy aches. I was really at this point, I was just hungry, but I was feeling okay till the point that those last days I got a bit cocky, right? So if it hadn't been for the fact that I actually planned, because I ended my fast on Sunday, and then on Monday it was my birthday, and I went for 2 days silent retreat, Monday, Tuesday. And I had planned to go on that retreat on my own, isolation in the mountains, to break the fast on Monday, and then return slowly and have those 2 silent days in there. And then, because it was my birthday, I had some birthday plans with friends and family. So, to me, if it hadn't been for all that, I will probably continue. I wouldn't say like, okay, let's do 1 more week, but I would take it day by day just to see if I can do a little bit more, because I was feeling okay. I was in the zone, right? And what I want to talk to you about a little bit as well is the returning, and that was something that it was very different from my previous fast. My previous fast that I did, I broke the fast with some veggie soup, and I immediately felt better. I started, like pom. I went back to doing everything, and I basically returned to normal within like a day. Whereas here, my plan was to go to that retreat, have a little breakfast, and go for a little walk in the forest. I had that breakfast. I could barely prepare that breakfast. I could barely eat that breakfast. And I went to sleep. My body was so exhausted. It's like my body was communicating to me, I need you to sleep so I can really process this food, so I can really return to normal, return to my energy. So I went to bed. I slept for 4 hours. I woke up. I had a banana. I went back to bed. I woke up. I had some veggie soup. And the weather was nice, so I just went out. I had like a little deck in my little cottage, and there was a sunbed in there. So I went to take a nap on that bed, and I basically slept all day. I had no energy, and the next day was very similar. And today I am a day free. It's afternoon right now. I am day free. I still feel weak. It does get better every day, but I extended my leave. I canceled some appointments. I just don't feel at my best, and I feel I'm gonna need a day or two to really return to normal. I feel better. I'm out and about, but I still don't have the old energy. And what I want to mention to you guys, it's something that I was hearing as I was fasting. It was one of my thoughts that we go through these fasts differently. We go through these experiences, deep spiritual experiences, differently, not just as individuals, but as we repeat them, right? Because we constantly change. This is why I always say to you guys, when you're guided to return to the same shadow, don't be afraid, because you're never returning same. The shadow is never same. It's like wandering in the forest, the metaphor that I always give you. And I've done this fast, but when I did it, I think it was the last one, I think it was 1.5 years ago, I was a completely different person. I wouldn't even, recognize myself. I constantly grow and I constantly evolve. So it was different, but I personally believe that it gives us and it shows us what we need. And because one of my deepest shadows was this distorted masculine hyperachiever. Let's go, let's do this, I have to be useful. I was one of those people that I cannot just, because this is the family that I will come from, right? So I never saw my mother just resting. She would always do something. And when she would say, well, let's do something, but why, we're not going to just sit. We cannot just sit. Let's do something. Let's clean, let's cook, let's go out, let's blah, 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 blah. Constantly doing something, right? And resting in my family equaled laziness, right? So I wasn't learned that the only moment that we could rest, it was we were really, really heavily sick. But someone is constantly calling me. So I was just not, again, not doing anything equaled resting, equaled laziness. So to me, until this point, now I've learned to rest. I've learned to listen to my body, because when you are in your feminine, you have to do it. You have to, just like when you're in your period, you have days that you're just in bed, you're relaxing, your body aches. You really allow your body, being on your period is purge, is releasing all the emotion, all gunk that went through your portal, right? But if I do that prolonged period of time, I keep hearing that voice where you have to do something, maybe like a new project, maybe new something. So I feel like that fatigue was really for me to just sit, lay down, exist. It's enough. It's enough, because us healers, we have to learn this, that we don't have to do anything in the physical. Us being, even doing practices like this, it creates a ripple effect in this world. And I always say to you guys that, your mission, for some of us, that mission is to have platforms and hundreds of thousands of people following us and listening to our teachings. And some of us are going to be living in a forest, and we may be going to accept one customer a year, and maybe, publish a book or oracle cards or whatever. And that's enough, right? We all have different journeys, and we have to learn that everything is energy, and this is what we teach. And through our change, through us raising our vibration, we change this world, right? So I feel like this relaxed woman was really a teaching for me for this fast. And even now, when I'm returning, and every time I eat, I have to go ahead and take a nap, because I'm really, really exhausted. So yeah. Okay, I want to cover just some random thoughts that I had during this fast as well. All right, so random thoughts. I was thinking about this a lot, and I think it's a common thought when we're fasting. All people that I spoke to that do practice prolonged fasting, they always have these thoughts that we eat more than we need. We consume more than we actually need. We don't cherish our food. We don't pray for our food. We don't appreciate the food that we eat, how it was grown, how it was delivered to us, the fruits of Mother Earth, the sacrifice that people make to prepare these foods, especially these days. And we just don't have that appreciation. And through that appreciation, again, the fast sort of resets you, so it gives back. I do have that appreciation, right? But it does amplifies it. It does remind you to really do that every day. And through that, you do put love, and you put intention into your food, so it nourishes your body better, and it's something incredibly important. Another thing that I also notice is that, again, many people have these thoughts, I think, that hunger is mental. When you really think about this and when you focus on it, you're not that much hungry on a level, especially when you do prolonged fast, on a level of actual body hunger, but you're mentally hungry. You just think about food, and it also helps you to remove the program. The fasting is beautiful to help to remove the program, because most people, they just follow what they were told. They don't even realize that over 90% of people on this planet, they're not able to really think on their own, listening to their intuition, listening to even their own logic. They read something, they saw something, they will set something in school and university, and someone said something to them, and they based these random thoughts. This is why we're so easily controlled as society, because they show you something that research say in TV that this and that. What research? What kind of research? Who did that research? Who paid for that research more than anything, right? So it's just like it's just coding, it's just programming. Constantly you go back to it. So we're being told that we need food, we need protein, we need this and we need that, and we have to be eating like 5 times a day, and all these ridiculous rules that constantly change, and we're just being moved like puppets, like consumers that constantly we just buy what we're being told to buy. We're not listening to our bodies, we're not listening to our intuition. It's just this constant propaganda. So it really helps you to break the fast. It really puts you in this state of, I could eat 30-40% of what I'm eating and maybe I would be okay. Maybe I just should put more attention of what I'm eating and intention that I put in my food. And it's just it completely changes your mindset. It definitely activates the gratitude, not just for food and for eating, but for the little things. So your shadows, your problems, your longings, they go away. I kid you not, I cried over the banana that I ate on the first day, and you just have this appreciation that the sun is shining, that I'm alive, that not only that I can eat and that I have all this beautiful food, but because my symptom was fatigue, I was really thinking a lot about, and mind you that I am someone that years ago I had an injury, an accident, and I wasn't able to walk for more than 6 months. So this sort of was years ago, and it triggered my first pre-awakening on the mental level process. But it already put me in a state of gratitude for those things. But that fast sort of reawakens that, because when you're really not able to brush your teeth standing, you start to think about people who don't have access to food on a daily basis, or perhaps are sick, people who are on chemo sometimes, who just don't have the energy to really do normal things, to function, to do normal things in life. And suddenly, all the things that you want and they're not happening, and all the struggles that you have and discussions you have with people, and the little fears that stop you, it all just doesn't matter. You just start to appreciate that you're alive again, that sun is shining, that birds are singing, that you can fix yourself a wonderful meal, and that's enough. That's all that we really need in this world. Time definitely slows down. Those 2 weeks, month of August was very intense for me. So I did my silent retreat afterwards. Before that, I went for my yearly shamanic week to go on a shamanic journey. But right now, when I think about this, it was a few weeks ago. It seems like it was months ago. So time slows down. It definitely heals relationship with food, right? So I told you about my experience and my journey and my traumas. But I feel like if you even don't have like a very heavy trauma, I feel like a relationship with our body and the relationship we have with food is always a reflection of some sort of a trauma. You may not know it because you may not realize it. Most people struggle to connect the dots from one thing to another, but to me it always puts me, I am in this mindset already that I appreciate food, I like cooking, I appreciate homemade meals, but it puts me in there even more. So if you struggle, you don't like cooking, you don't know how to cook, you feel like you don't know how to cook, it always comes, it's really easy. Cooking is easy. It's just serving yourself a meal. So if you're not able to spend an hour or two or however many long in a day to prepare yourself, some can be done very quickly, some can be done, in a longer amount of time. It means that there's something within you that is blocking you from giving yourself. It's usually self-love, because if you really truly love yourself, just like imagine if you had a child that you love dearly, and the child's like, "Mommy or Daddy, can you make me this soup? I love it so much." You would go and you would make it. So what is it within you that's not making you love yourself enough to prepare a beautiful, made from scratch whole foods ingredients, prepare yourself a beautiful meal to nourish your body. It means that you don't love it enough. A funny thing that I noticed is that I had meat cravings despite the fact that I don't eat meat. I mean, it's you know that eating meat, it's not against divine law. It's not against divine law. It's not punishable. We just have to be mindful how much and the quality of the meat that we eat. So people who do choose to eat meat, make sure it's like from a nice farm and it's really good quality and animals are treated. I'm not even going to go there, but animals are treated well and with respect. I, for most part, don't eat meat. I have moments like when I do really have a couple times a year that strong feeling of grounding, I would have some chicken. I do eat fish though, but I craved meat. I had this booth outside my apartment that sells meat, and they also make sausages, and the smell of the sausage would make me crazy. But it's funny because the moment I had my first meal, I was like, so I went back. It's just it shows. And it's also funny. I always say this to you guys, those of you who are wounded, those of you who are still closing karmic relationships and karmic patterns, and you crave love, you want love. When you're coming from a place of lack, you would accept crap. And this is what happens. You have to go for a journey of healing, solitude, being single, cleansing your energy to really know your worth and want the good quality. This is that extreme that I was talking about in the beginning. Because if you're coming from a place of lack, I want love, I want to be loved, I want a relationship, you're gonna whatever, because this is what it shows, right? When you're really, really hungry for something, you want anything, suddenly anything. I would eat anything, right? The only thing that I wasn't craving, which is very funny because I always had a very sweet tooth. Years ago, I was a person that I could have French toast for breakfast, crepes for lunch, and then, something sweet for dinner, and in between, like, have candy. And my first fast eliminated that significantly. But I would still eat, sweet things here and there, but not on a daily basis, though. But this fast, whenever I would, watch my recipes, I was craving most soups, like Polish soups, like ramen, like Thai soups, all kinds of soups, cream soups. But whenever I would see like a recipe like cake, or it would just, it makes me, I don't even want to think about it, right? I hope it will stay, but I hope it will stay. And yeah, I think that's most, overall our bodies just are strong. They can really endure anything. You just have to surrender, give our bodies to the Creator, surrender our bodies to our journey, to the journey of our soul, allow our soul to give us strength to hold the reins. And that's it. And one more thought that I can share with you is that when I was sharing with some people that I'm doing this that prolonged fasting, I noticed that there were 3 types of reactions. And it's funny how when we start to observe life instead of reacting, we just learn from people that are different people, and how they react to certain things shows where they are on their journey of life. So most people, because I am where I am, right? I'm a healer. I work as a healer. I have a very balanced life, very fulfilled life. People who are part of my life on a daily basis are my soulmates, right? So it's only natural that they reacted in a beautiful, proper way, very respectful way. Like, I admire you for doing this. Let me know if you need anything. If you feel weak, I'm here. I'll come to your house. They would check in with me. They would really cross their fingers for me, which is the kind support sort of reaction. The reaction that even if I wouldn't do it, maybe I don't fully understand, but I respect you. I admire you that you have the strength to have some visions and ideas for yourself and do these things and break your own barriers, right? Which is beautiful. The second reaction that wasn't that common. I think it was one of my cousins said this to me, and a lady that, does my nails said this to me, and it still shows that some people are on a bit shallow matrix level. They assume that I would do it to lose weight, and the interest that they had, how much weight did I lose, right? And I wonder how much weight you can lose, which only shows that so many women still are in this mindset. And I was there, I told you, right? I would do many silly things to lose weight back in the day. But it only means that you don't love your body, that you don't love yourself, that you don't understand that your body is your vessel and its shape, how it's supposed to look like. It's it's supposed to be strong, it's supposed to be nourished, it's supposed to be healthy. The rest is conditioning that changes every century. So it's really ridiculous. But just a side note, if that is your concern, because I haven't mentioned this as I was talking through this, I probably lost about 10 kilograms. I'm not sure because I don't own a scale, but I know my body. I am 176, so I'm quite tall. 5 kilograms, I know from experience, to me it's nothing. Considering the height of my body, and also that I'm quite curvy, whenever I would lose or gain up to 5 kilograms, it's not noticeable. For other people, I don't even notice it, not even in my clothes. 5 kilo on the size of my body, especially that it goes a little bit from everywhere. It's not something that changes my sizing, right? Especially that as women, we fluctuate throughout our cycle, so it's nothing. And I did lose weight. I saw it. Like I put on, the last week I put on these like silk pants that I have to like wear around the house, like a bottom pajamas, and they were like really tight before, a bit uncomfortable even, and now they're completely loose. And the funny thing that I say to everyone, because it's just so funny, if you watch me, I always wear my rings, the same rings. I have very small fingers. And when I was packing my bag on Sunday to go on that silent retreat, I put my hands in the bag and they all fell down. So if you lose weight to the point of your fingers, that means you've lost a lot. But I've seen it. I saw it on I even notice it now as I look at myself, that my face is slimmer. I lost weight here. My hands are smaller. My waist. It just never goes away from the ass. It stays same always. For whatever reason, it's very stubborn. But all the rest of my body, I did lose weight, but I will regain it. I started eating normally. Obviously, right now I'm eating less. I hope I'm not gonna go back to some habits that I still wanted to remove. I am a snacker sort of a person, so I hope again I'm going to escalate and elevate better habits for myself. But I'll definitely regain it because I've been maintaining the same weight since years. So yeah, and the last reaction, the third reaction, right? So we had the weight loss, we had the supportive, the kind support reaction. The last one was the most common one from people like family, people that don't know me that much, that are not so close to me. And it only proves to what I always say to you guys. Most people are stuck in fear and conditioning. So their reaction would be, oh my God, why are you doing this? What benefits is it going to bring to you? It's not beneficial. Show me research that shows that, by the way, they are research, the newest research that show from a logical perspective of our body, and even matrix research show that it's beneficial. But people just, because they heard something, oh my God, your hair is gonna completely like pull out, and your skin is gonna be horrible, you're gonna faint, you're gonna lose all the vitamins, you're gonna lose all the muscles, drama. And if you would actually ask them for a tangible, logical explanation why they think that it will happen, they probably would be able to give that, because it's just something that they've read, that they heard, and they know nothing about nothing, literally. Very close mind, very fearful, very, oh my God, you're gonna die, right? Kind of a mindset. And what's very saddening is this mindset completely, this is why I always talk about this when we do our sessions with you guys. You will never lift the veil and escape the matrix if you are not able to take your earthly shallow energy and lift it to the level of the heart. Level of the heart is where your spirit lives, where your intuition lives, where unconditional love lives. When giving yourself to God really lives. So the fact that someone isn't able to comprehend that us as humans, we just have certain challenges for ourselves to expand our spirit, to go deeper into our soul, to go deeper into who you are and the gratitude and the meaning of life. It's just really so saddening to me. It's really so saddening to me. And it made me laugh because one of those people, specifically religious, right? So she started saying to me, like, oh my God, but why are you doing this? Like, what kind of religion tells you not to eat? I'm like, I believe it is your religion because Jesus fasted for 40 days, right? But no, it's this, not only they follow conditioning, social, cultural, religious conditioning, but in their own conditioning, they lose the logic. They're not even capable of thinking within their own box that they created for themselves, right? So either you are religious and you follow Jesus Christ, who made that sacrifice for humans, which was a beautiful sacrifice that Joshua actually did for us, or you don't. So which way is it? It's like it's strong conditioning, but they sort of how it fits for them and it fits for purpose, right? So it's funny. Yeah, all right, I'm gonna stop rambling. It was incredibly long video, so sorry for that, but I really wanted to include all the information and all that I wanted to say. Again, please consult with healthcare professional before you do this. I would also recommend, because this is a spiritual thing, please consult with your spiritual teacher. If you're in a journey of healing, you should have your spiritual teacher. Even if it's just like a once per quarter kind of a session. So please consult. Where's the level of your shadows and your spirit? Are you ready to do this if it's recommendable for you on your journey? And yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments.